Ah, good morning, happy Friday, everybody. Um, let's get to my low, my high, my act of kindness, shall we? Let's see, what's my low? My low is I really didn't get very much sleep last night. It's like tossing and turning. Like, you know what? It was like maybe a half hour ago. Actually, longer than a half hour. Like, within the last hour, I finally got like in a position where I could comfortably sleep, but I knew I had to get up. Hence why I'm here. Which, such a problem sometimes. But I'm up. I'm at 'em. Let's do this. What's my high? Well, yesterday's Hot Ones episode was great, but I tried this new flavor at Rita's, Shirley Temple flavored Italian ice, which is actually really good. If you don't know, for those of you who don't know what a Shirley Temple is, the drink, not the person, it's a drink that's usually made with ginger ale, grenadine, which is made out of pomegranate, and maraschino cherries. And you really do taste those flavors in the Italian ice. It was actually quite impressive. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Actually kind of glad I had it. Probably might get it again at some point. Honestly, having gone to Rita's as much as I have, making, Italian ice flavors out of, cocktails really isn't anything new. They've done margarita before. Here's the thing. There's no alcohol in any of this. So you're pretty much just getting like the sweet flavors in Italian ice, which is what you should be getting. So they've done margarita, they've done Shirley Temple. They theoretically could actually do Cuba Libres. There's key lime flavored Italian ice, and they have cola flavored Italian ice, which are two very important ingredients in a Cuba Libre. Yeah, maybe. But for real, the Shirley Temple flavored Italian ice was great. And what's my act of kindness? My act of kindness was let's see, what did I do? I held the door for some people yesterday as I was out and about. And yeah, that was about it. Okay, so John Bernthal, Tom Holland on Hot Ones. Listen, I would say I'm 90% sure this was the season 30 finale. Technically a reunion episode for both people because both John Bernthal and Tom Holland were on Hot Ones. And on top of that, they've known each other for over a decade as they worked on the movie Pilgrimage, and now they're in not one, but two of the biggest summer blockbusters that are coming out this year. The Odyssey, which I just saw the other day, and Spider-Man Brand New Day, which I will definitely be seeing next week. Yeah. This episode was really just between Sean, John, and Tom, I liked how they all almost rhymed. It was just like three guys chilling and having a good time. Honestly, Hot Ones episodes like that, they're just fun to watch. If you take away some people think, oh, take out all the spicy wings and it's just like a normal conversation. And yeah, but if the conversation is fun and interesting to watch, is that really a problem? Seriously, you take out the spicy wings of this particular episode, And it's just three guys chilling, having a good time. And that's awesome. I love seeing stuff like that. In fact, Club Shay Shay just came out with an episode with like a lot of Shannon Sharp's old Broncos teammates. I do need to watch the rest of it though. It's really good. If you watch Club Shay Shay, I highly recommend you watch that episode. And just as you'd expect for this episode, yeah, of course they talk about both the Odyssey and Spider-Man Brand New Day, including the fact that Jon Bernthal, well, for starting with the fact that Jon Bernthal plays the Punisher, Frank Castle, and Sean asks, like, what's your take on like a fresh idea for a character versus, a potential portrayal to the character? And at the end of the day, it's trying not to disappoint the fans. I mean, listen, Jon Bernthal is great. I've been a fan of his since The Wolf of Wall Street, and I can tell you that when I go see Spider-Man Brand New Day, he's not going to disappoint me. I doubt he'll disappoint me at all, for sure. The next question was for Tom Holland. What's the most surreal "Where am I" moment in Morocco when they were filming the Odyssey? It was just like walking down this long beach line of like nothing but shore. Like Tom Holland's trying to find the crew. It took him forever to find the crew. Like, am I in the right place? Like, I mean, listen, it's after seeing the movie, I'm like, yeah, I could see why Tom Holland would have felt that way, because it's for sure one of the I mean, again, man, the Odyssey is gonna, I mean, I don't know if it'll quite sweep the Oscars, but it's gonna win. For set design, absolutely it's gonna win. I'd be shocked if it didn't. They talked about what's called unconscious competence, which is like learning a new behavior and getting to a place where you do that behavior without thinking about it. And then they went back to Tom Holland, because here's the thing, I loved watching the Odyssey, but there was one thing that was on my mind, and this Hot Ones episode actually kind of addressed it, which is, I mean, for those of you who actually know, Tom Holland's not an American actor. He's a British actor with a British accent. He obviously has an American accent for, playing Spider-Man. And he uses that same accent, well, not the same American accent, but an American accent for when he plays Telemachus in the Odyssey. Now, when I thought about it, I'm like, wait, both Anne Hathaway and Matt Damon play his parents in the movie, and they both speak with American accents. Therefore, Tom Holland should be speaking with an American accent as well. And that's what I attribute it as. But with Tom Holland, whenever he speaks with an American accent, that's his way of disassociating with the character. It's actually really cool. It's, in a way, it's kind of going method. Jon Bernthal talked about how his theater teacher had faith in him after he gave a monologue about his mom using a catcher's glove, which made everybody cry. And then they talked about an interesting topic. Because, it does kind of make sense that Sean would ask a question like this, because, again, Jon Bernthal and Tom Holland are in Spider-Man Brand New Day and the Odyssey. Spider-Man is Marvel. So, is there a precedent for calling the Odyssey the Marvel of its day? And without giving too much away on that answer, yeah, you can kind of see that a little bit. I mean, you have to remember, like, the Odyssey was written millennia ago, or actually, I don't know if it was millennia, but centuries ago. You know, what people deemed as, peak fiction and writing then, is could be considered by many to be trivial now in comparison. That's not to say it's bad. It's just, in this day, I grew up with, superheroes and, anime and all sorts of, various forms of action and, drama and comedy and romance and horror. And to be sure, people back then in the days of when the Odyssey was written, they absolutely had that in spades. But again, it was different then from what it is now. I mean, think of it this way. The idea of a giant monster with one eye actually does sound kind of intimidating today. Back then in the Odyssey, I bet it was like the scariest sounding thing there was. Or, the idea of the songs of beautiful women, trapping men and luring them to their deaths. Oh, if you want to be technical, that still does kind of happen today. So, yeah, that does, in the days of the Odyssey, that really would sound scary. In a way, both Marvel and the Odyssey do present cautionary tales about life lessons to learn. And it's regular people who have to, ascend to greatness to get to them. Because when you think about it, Marvel characters really start off as they really are just regular people who wind up becoming these larger than life figures. I mean, think about it. Tony Stark was just a rich billionaire inventor. He becomes Iron Man, he's larger than life. Steve Rogers, before the super soldier formula, was just like a regular guy who only wanted to do was serve his country in World War II. Once he became the super soldier and once he became Captain America, he became larger than life. I mean, do we even need to mention how, Doc Bruce Banner, boarded by gamma rays, turned into the Hulk, and he unglamorously larger than life. I had to do that. Okay, so, yeah. There's definitely you could say the Odyssey was the Marvel of its day. Or you could say Marvel is the Odyssey of today. They talked about how they're both veterans of Broadway shows and West End shows, and shows actually start 8 minutes after curtain time, and it's basically for people who are coming in late and want to make sure that you get into the seats. But for the actors, that's the way to process. The show is about to begin. Let's go. Let's do this. Pay homage to the people who came before us in terms of, who did theater, which is why they talked about the Ghost Light a little bit. And they also talked about saying Macbeth or whistling on stage. For those of you who don't know, saying Macbeth or whistling on stage is notoriously bad luck for the theater. In fact, there have been many times in the past where people have died on stage after saying the word Macbeth. That's why you gotta refer to it as that Scottish play. I wouldn't say I'm superstitious, but out of respect for those who came before me, if I'm ever on a stage, I will not say those words or whistle on stage. For The Bomb, they played the superlatives game of which movie, in a friendly way, which movie had the better set design, which movie had the better cast, which had better production between the Odyssey and Spider-Man Brand New Day. They talked about baseball stadiums in Russia because John Bernthal used to play a catcher. And at the end, they just talked about what they liked. What about each other they appreciate more now than when they first met 10 years ago? I mean, listen, Tom Holland and John Bernthal, they are friend goals. These are two guys who've known each other for a long time, and, well, with Tom Holland looking up to Jon Bernthal, but they both support each other. And they're there for one. Like, seriously, like, again, you really could take out just this episode, just the wings of this episode, and it would be three guys on your computer screen just having a good time. You know, that's what this was. And that's actually something about Hot Ones that you do kind of see, but unless it's really, you know, prominent in the episode, you never really get a chance to notice it. And that's, this episode definitely was one where it definitely brought out like the best sides of everybody, if that makes sense. Like, everything was genuine, everything was real, and when it came to reacting to the hot sauces, yeah. You know it's spicy when Tom Holland's like, bitch. Like, yeah. Like, oh, man. By the way, I think Tom Holland might have puked at the very end of the episode. I think. Man, Tom Holland cannot... Like, seriously, in Jon Bernthal's original episode, Sean, like, choked on the first wing. In Tom Holland's episode, Tom Holland accidentally grabbed the last wing. Like, this was an episode where they all needed each other's backs, and I dare say they all did. So yeah, man, if this was the season 30 finale, I couldn't think of a better way to end it. I don't think they could have ended this any better. I mean, technically, there's still July 30th, and I mean, if there's one more episode after this, it's going to be hard to top this. That's not to say that I'm sure the season finale is going to be great either way, but I don't know, man. This is the sort of Hot Ones episode where you watch and you feel good after watching it. I know I do. And I hope you all like this video. If you like this right YouTube channel, follow me on social media. As always, under homies video for all of you guys watching Joe video. But you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Friday. And remember, if you guys want to talk to me, let me know. Back. Take care. Make good choices. 607 all day, baby.